It's Lent season in the sartorial kitchen, and have I got a front fresh menu for you guys. Kicking things off, it's my shaved Brussels salad with crane raisins, seeds, cheese, and tossed on a lemon vinaigrette. Then I'm toasting up some bread and rubbing on some homemade fresh roasted garlic. Then it's the entree, a classic clam chowder. And last but not least, dessert. It's lemon sesame cookies. So why don't you pull up a chair and dine with me?
Sartorial kitchen, everybody. So, it is Lent season, and you know what that means. Seafood Friday. So last season I did a classic fish fry. Cod fillets and chips and all that. So I wanted to go in a different direction this year. And that direction is clam chowder. So, I love soups, I love stews, chowders, anything like that. They're great kind of one-pot meals. You can kind of fix a big thing of it and you've got dinner for the rest of the week. So it's great. Now to start, we got to get our aromatics going. So I'm just finishing up chopping the onion here. This is just one medium-sized yellow onion. I've also got some celery here. Just a few stalks. We're going to cut off the ends. They're not going to do anything for us. So I chose this meal. Clams are not a big thing around here. We don't get a lot of fresh seafood all the time. So this is a real treat. I'm doing a New England style, so it's going to have some heavy cream in it. It's going to be nice and luscious. As opposed to a Manhattan style, which is more of a tomato base. And with that, I'm doing a fun little spring salad, Brussels, and I'm doing some garlic toast, because you gotta have some nice hearty toast to dip into the broth. So there's my celery. And then I've got some carrots. I just went ahead and got some baby carrots. They're already kind of the size I want, and I can just come in here and dice them up. I've already got my sauce pot going. I've got about a couple tablespoons of oil, a couple tablespoons of butter. The oil is really going to caramelize everything, but the butter gives it a little flavor, so I like to use both when I can. Guys, there is my veggies, and they're just going to go right into this pot. My oil is good and hot. You can hear that sizzle. That is one of my favorite sounds in the kitchen. I'm just going to kind of stir that around so it cooks. Everything gets coated. You just kind of break up those onions. I try to make sure everything's the same size when I dice it so it all cooks the same in the skillet. And then we're going to begin our seasoning here. I've got some salt. A generous sprinkling of salt. That salt's also going to help tenderize the veggies and help them cook down a little. And then a generous sprinkling of pepper. Give it another little stir here. I'm just going to let that cook down. When they start to get nice and tender and translucent, we'll add our garlic. Alright, my veggies have cooked down nicely. They smell amazing. Time for a little garlic. I've got my preserved garlic out here. I'm just going to do a couple teaspoons, just enough to give that kick. And I like using the preserved because you get a little bit of that garlic oil. And I'm just going to stir that around. I'm going to turn that down just slightly. Now really just about a minute, not even that long with the garlic, because it'll burn immediately. And it's going to give you that bitter taste and no good. That's pretty good on the garlic. I can smell that garlic already. So I'm just going to come in here. Couple tablespoons of flour, that's it. And you want to stir that around quick so it doesn't burn. And not long with the flour, just enough to cook out that raw flour taste, but not have it burn either. You just kind of want to keep an eye on it. That looks pretty good. Now, for the fun stuff. Clam juice. I really didn't think I was going to be able to find clam juice. I was nervous, you guys, and I thought I was going to get stuck using like vegetable stock. but I happened to find some. They had the clams I needed, and they had the clam juice. I can't believe it. So I'm going to throw that in. That is 1 container of clam juice, and then I'm going to thin that out with some water here. Now the clam juice, it's basically just from brined clams, so you're going to get a little bit of that saltiness. So I should not have to add any more salt to this. Alright, I've got a can of diced potatoes here. I'm just going to throw that in, liquid and everything, because there's some starch in that liquid, so that's also going to help thicken our chowder here. And that's kind of the difference between like just a soup and a chowder. A chowder is more of like a thickened kind of soup. So I've got my potatoes there, and that's going to add some nice body to the dish. And potatoes are a good filler, and I'm just going to kind of stir that around. I am going to add a little more pepper here. And then I have some other aromatics that I want to throw in here as well. Alright, so just got a few more things here. I've got some Old Bay. I love using Old Bay with seafood dishes. It goes great. I don't need a lot. I'm just going to do about a teaspoon or so, just enough to kind of give a nice depth of flavor here. And then I've got some crushed red pepper here, just a sprinkling, just to add a little heat. That's going to cut through some of the richness of the soup. So just a little there. Maybe about a 1/4 teaspoon. And then bay leaves. I love, especially in like cream-based soups, I love bay leaves. So I'm just going to drop a couple leaves in there. Make sure we fish them out later. And then I'm just going to kind of let that come to a boil. We'll prep our clams and finish our chowder. Alright guys, while this cooks down, I've got it on a low heat. I'm going to go ahead and prep my salad. And I told you guys that I was going to be making a spring salad of sorts. So I wanted to do like some kale or some arugula, something fresh with a nice bite to it. But nothing I was looking at in the store looked good. And then I saw these Brussels and I thought, why not a Brussels salad? So that's what I'm bringing for you guys today, a shaved Brussels salad. It's still going to have all the same good things in it that I was going to do with the spring salad. And I'm just going to toss that with a simple lemon vinaigrette. And it'll be a nice accompaniment to our chowder. And I'm just going to come in here and slice these in half. I want a nice flat surface so I can shave them with my little mandolin here. And Brussels sprouts, what I like about Brussels sprouts is they have a lot of texture to them. And there's a lot of things you can do with Brussels sprouts. You can roast them, you can fry them, you can do a raw preparation for a salad. They're going to hold up well to the vinaigrette. You don't have to worry about them wilting or anything like that. And it's a make-ahead salad. This is something you can make the night before. It's going to hold up in the dressing. You're going to be just fine. And that is our Brussels. Now I've got a little bowl here. I'm going to shave them right into this bowl and I'll just mix everything in the bowl, make it so much easier. And now I've got a little tool here to keep our hands safe. That just snatches right on top. And then you can come through here and shave down the sprouts. Alright guys, that is our Brussels. Let's say goodbye to them. And don't these look amazing? Nice little shreds, almost like cabbage. Brussels are kind of like little baby cabbage. So good. Now let's get the rest of our ingredients. So I just have a few things here to make our salad a little extra. I've got some dried cranberries. And I'm just going to do a nice sprinkling of those, just kind of right on top. You can use any kind of dried fruit you like. You want to put like some fresh berries in here. Blackberries, raspberries, those are good. And then I've got some roasted seeds here. This is a pumpkin and sunflower seed mix. I'm just going to sprinkle a nice helping of that in there. I like, with salads, I like to play with flavors and textures. So I like, you know, acidity and sweetness and crunchiness. And then I also have a Asiago blend. I love cheeses in my salad. It kind of makes it a little decadent. I'm just going to sprinkle a little of that right on top. A nice hard cheese that's going to hold up to the vinaigrettes and here when we toss it up. And then for the dressing, I thought I would just dress my salad here and toss it in instead of doing it separate. So I just need two things for that. I need a lemon, some olive oil, and then of course some seasoning there. So I'm just going to roll this lemon out to give it, release some of those juices. And I'm just going to slice that in half. Watch for seeds here, and I'm just going to squeeze that right over top of my lettuce. I'm sorry, my sprouts. Get both of these here. Get about as much of that as you can. You need about a couple tablespoons of the lemon juice here. And then about equal parts of the olive oil here. I'm just going to drizzle that right on top. Citrus and oil. That is like the easiest salad dressing ever, and it's absolutely delicious. And then I'm just going to come in here with a little helping of salt and a little helping of pepper. And then we just need to give it a little toss. Come in here with our tongs. Just toss all that together. And just look at all this beautiful layers of the sprouts, and then you have the color there from the seeds and the cranberries. And this is going to be a nice, fun little salad. Alright, that's pretty good. Now I'm just going to set this aside until we have finished our chowder, and then we'll be ready for a meal. Okay, this is starting to boil. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. And now I'm going to prep my clams. These are already cooked. These are canned clams, so they just need to come to temp. Now I've got a sieve here. I'm going to dump these out and run them through my sieve. The brine that they pack these clams in, it's a little much, so I just want to let that drain. I'm actually going to run a little water over these, just going to wash some of that off, because it's a little strong. And I don't want that to tamper with the flavor of our broth. And I like the clams. They have kind of a little bit of an earthiness to them, and they're nice and meaty. Now, I'm using canned, like I said before. Fresh clams are not really a thing around here. And for like soups and things like that, when you're cooking it down and you're flavoring it with a good broth, it's okay to use canned. Now if I was doing like a canned clams casino or a clam bake or something like that, then I would get like fresh clams and steam them and do all that. But this is going to work just now. I'm going to give these a little rough chop. I want everything kind of the same size so it all eats the same. So I'm just going to kind of come here and just kind of mince these a little bit so they're a similar size to hold all of our veggies and everything else in there. Pretty good. Awesome. Okay. These are ready to go in. I'm just going to dump them right in. And like I said, they're already cooked. They've been processed, so they just have to come to temperature. Okay. Everything has come back up to a boil again. I'm going to finish off with my heavy cream here. This is just a small container of heavy cream. Oh, and I just love watching the color of my soup change from like a off green to white. It's the science of cooking. I'm just going to stir that around, and then I'm going to let it reduce for about another 5 minutes. That cream's going to break down, and it's going to thicken up our chowder nicely. So good. And we can go ahead and start plating. Alright, so let's get a plate out. And we'll dish up some of our salad here on our little salad plate. So good. Make sure I get plenty of the goodies. And because I'm extra, I'm going to throw a little more cheese on top. You can never have too much cheese. And if you heard that ding, that is some bread that I toasted up. I like a nice toasty piece of bread to dip in my soups and stews and things. And then I've got some garlic here that I roasted earlier. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, look at that. Gorgeous. So I'm just going to take my bread here, and I'm going to rub some of that garlic right on here. And then you get that nice concentrated garlic flavor, as opposed to a garlic bread, which is, you know, kind of greasy and buttery. So good. I'll just do a couple pieces for now to have with our meal. Smells heavenly, guys. Okay. And then I think it is time to dish up our chowder. Yes. That looks good. Alrighty. I will see you guys in the dining room. Welcome to the sartorial dining room, everybody. I thought I would come in here and sit down and enjoy my meal and let you guys watch as I do. I think first I'm going to come in here, start with my salad. So many good things in this salad. The seeds, the cran raisins, and then that lovely little dressing. And of course the cheese, can't forget that. So good. The Brussels sprouts really do give it a nice crunch. And it's almost salad-like when you shave it, so it makes it kind of fun. Then you get nice kind of salty kick from the seeds. And then the cranberries just give it a nice little burst of tartness. Plays beautifully with just a little simple lemon vinaigrette. Nothing too elaborate. Now, let's come in for the main course. I think I'm going to try a little bit of my bread first, just to get a good taste of the broth. Okay. Listen to that. Nothing like a nice crisp piece of bread. Still kind of soft in the middle, so it soaks up that broth nicely. And the roasted garlic, just the right amount of garlic, not too strong of a garlic flavor. And then I'm going to come in here, get a nice spoonful with everything on it. It's kind of hot. So good. The heavy cream gives it a nice creaminess. There's a little bit of heat from the red pepper flakes. You get kind of that nice subtlety of the Old Bay and the bay leaves in the background. Veggies are nice and tender. The clams are just cooked through perfectly. A wonderful soup for Easter time. Alright, so thanks for joining me for dinner. I have one more dish for you, and it is some lemon sesame cookies. So stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. Dinner was amazing. And now we're moving on to dessert. I'm making some lemon sesame cookies. And I wanted to do like a fun dessert. I like, you know, I do a lot of baking like around the holidays. And I thought, you know, let's do some like kind of fun springtime desserts. And I'm taking these with me to Bible study. Each week somebody kind of brings a little something to nibble on. We have our coffee and our little treats and have our little lesson. So I'm starting with my dry ingredients. As you know, this is my flour here. And I need 2 1/3 cup. And I'm just measuring this out. You got to be accurate with your flour. If you have too much, you're going to end up with a really dense product. So I just want to level it out here with my little scoop. That is 1 1/3 cup. I also need a teaspoon of baking powder. These are going to be nice, soft, kind of airy cookies. So we need our leaveners. And then I've also got some baking soda here. And I only need a ½ teaspoon of the baking soda. And then, of course, dry ingredients aren't dry ingredients with a pinch of salt. And tap it in, tap it in. Beautiful. Okay, time for the wet ingredients. You need a cup of sugar. I want these to be nice and sweet. And then I've also got some 1 egg here. Be very gentle with this egg and watch for shells. Right into there. Beautiful. 2 sticks of softened butter. I've just kind of let this butter sit out till it comes to room temperature so I can work with it here. That is 1 stick. And 2. A teaspoon of vanilla extract. You know I love vanilla in my desserts. Now you could stop here and you would have a delicious sugar cookie. But we're making lemon sesame cookies. So we need some lemons. I'm going to roll these guys out. Release those juices. Now first, I want some of the zest here. And I'm just going to zest this right over top of my mixture. I'm using the zest and the juice, so we're going to get a little bit of that floral quality of the zest, and then we're going to get that punch of acidity from the juice. So it's going to be really good. Alright, that is our lemon. We always check the back of this guy for stragglers. And there we have it. Now let's get our juice. I need a couple tablespoons, so I'm going to need both of these lemons here. Alright. Go ahead and grab these seeds while I see them. And we'll just give this guy a squirt. These are going to be nice, soft, sweet, tart cookies. And then the sesame is just going to give a little something extra, a little bit of texture. And for our other lemon, again, grab the seeds if you can. And right into our batter. Okay, one last ingredient is my sesame seeds. But first, I'm going to start to mix up this batter. I'm just going to come in here with my whisk and kind of chop down on everything so it incorporates nicely with the rest of our ingredients. And just give it a nice whisk. Make sure all that flour and those other dry ingredients get incorporated. Alright, this is starting to come together nicely. It's gonna be a little thick, a little pasty. That's kind of what we want. Our butter and our egg is really the only kind of liquid ingredients in here. Well, in the vanilla extract. So that looks pretty good, I think. Our flour is well incorporated. Now we are ready to assemble our cookies. Black sesame seeds here. They're going to add some fun color and just a little bit of texture. I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit into the batter. I like to do it once they're already mixed. I can just fold them in and they're going to kind of keep their place. And then that way they're distributed evenly throughout the cookies. And then we'll sprinkle a little more on top before we throw them in the oven. What's great about these cookies, the sesame is pretty much your decoration. We don't have to worry about icing them or frosting them or decorating them. The black sesame is going to do all the work. Alright, I'm spraying down my baking sheet here just to keep the cookies from sticking. My oven has been preheated to 350 degrees. These are going to bake for about 10 to 12 minutes, just until they're cooked through. I love using the ice cream scoop because I can ensure that all the cookies are going to come out the same size. Alright, as you can see, this makes pretty many cookies here, about 30 total. Now, what I'm going to do is sprinkle some of these in my hand. I don't want too much, I just want to kind of take a few and top the cookies with them, and that's just going to give them even more of that fun little look. Alrighty, my cookies are dressed and ready to go. I'm going to throw them in and we'll check on them here soon. Go ahead and set my timer here, and I will see you guys soon. Alright, our cookies are finito. I can turn that oven off as well. I'm going to get a couple drying cooling racks up here. So these cookies can cool down. And once they've cooled, I can package them up for my Bible study. Nice and brown on the edges, still a little soft on top. A little close together, but that's fine. We can trim them up and they'll be just fine. They smell amazing, guys. Alright. I'll let these cool off and package them up, and I will see you guys at the sanctuary. Well, guys, it's Sunday. We're here, just getting my refreshments set up for Bible study. Got my plate of cookies here. But before we get started, I think I'm just going to come in here and give it a little taste. So good. Nice and soft, like you expect a sugar cookie to be. Moist. It's sweet, but not too sweet. The lemon really cuts through the sweetness. You can get that fragrance of the zest in there. And then the seeds just give it a fun little texture. So good. So once again, I thank you for joining me. As always, like and subscribe. And until next time.